Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
If it came out that we were 100% living in a simulation, what would be the biggest indicator looking back? How arbitrary the speed of light limit is. It's just the read-write speed limit of the hard drive we are living in. Junior, simulation dev. Hey, should we model the whole multiverse? Senior, simulation dev. Nah, just make a skydome texture. Junior, simulation dev. What do we do if they make it to the edge? Senior, simulation dev. Just cap their travel speed. By the time they get there it will be somebody else's problem. Not only did they cap the travel speed, they also introduced the arbitrary variant of universe expansion to never really have to render anything beyond the local cluster. It's a neat trick, though. Much better than the invisible wall all around that we use in our simulations. Yeah. Ever since I got into programming I thought, the speed of light is probably fixed because otherwise a process would start taking up too much CPU power and crash the system at some point. Yeah, the speed of light is so weird. https old.reddit.com/r/explain-like-him5/comment/eli5_cam_ant_rap_my_head_ant_sc9. Now here's the next part of the trick. And where our intuition fails us. Light in a vacuum moves at the same speed no matter what you're doing around it. Let's take our truck and turn it into a rocket that can move at a significant percentage of the speed of light. And let's replace our ball-throwing person, robot, and replace it with a flashlight. If this behaved the same way that the ball did, if we took our rocket and accelerated it to 0.5 c, or half the speed of light, and from the reference frame of the Earth looked at the light from the flashlight. It's a really bright flashlight. It would appear to be moving at 0.5 c as well. Since it would be moving at 1 c but would have to negate the 0.5 c the ship was moving at. But we've tested this and despite it making no intuitive sense, the light from the back of the rocket will be traveling at 1 c. Or just c. Similarly, if we take the flashlight on that same rocket and point it towards the front, and we take our intuition from the ball experiment, we might expect that light to be going at 1.5 c. But it, too, will be going at 1 c no matter where we measure it from. The ship sees it going at 1 c. Earth sees it moving at 1 c. Mars sees it moving at 1 c. You get the picture. One time some friends and I were playing a game on Steam called Tabletop Simulator. It's a game where you can play board games and have to actually move the pieces and such. It had the ability for any player to spawn in any game pieces for any game at any time. There's also an extras category. One of the extras you can spawn in is an iPad. So we get fucking around and it's a functioning iPad. I opened up Ancon Arcade and tried playing Hex Empire. It worked. So I'm sitting in my game room, on my PC, playing a game on Steam, with a VR headset strapped to my face, where I'm sitting at a table on an iPad, playing full functioning Flash games on that iPad. I was like, how much deeper does this go than me? Is somebody playing me too? Quote, why not play Tabletop Simulator in Tabletop Simulator? That's where I thought it was going. All the deja vu moments. Like MF, I've played this level already. There are moments where I've gone, wow, I feel like I've seen this place in a dream, or, wow, this happened in a dream, and I don't know how to react. I once had a dream about driving through this one specific intersection in the mountains. Keep in mind, I was only like 9. And I'd never seen mountains before, let alone this specific spot. About half a year later, my family went on a road trip, and we drove through that intersection that I'd dreamt of. I also have similar stories of the same thing happening, and it happens probably at least 3 times a year. Our Sims can play The Sims. I wonder if our Sims are playing The Sims. I like to think they are. Those Sims deserve to enjoy The Sims as much as our Sims. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, lazy coding like GTA. You see a car for the first time and the next day you see it everywhere. I recently learned while watching a speedrun that this wasn't lazy coding. It was a hardware limitation. The old games could only keep so many different models of car loaded at once. So whatever car you were driving would become more frequent since it had to be loaded. I literally said out loud last summer, I have never seen a McLaren in real life on the road. The next 2 months I saw like 10. I have never had sex with a celebrity in real life. Okay, wish me luck guys. Never seeing my neighbors carrying in groceries. I saw this mentioned the other day and had a moment of WTF. Then realized I don't really watch my neighbors all that often, so why would I have seen it lol. Start watching now, and you'll see. We've been watching our neighbors for months because of this phenomenon. And we never see anyone bringing in groceries. And we have tons of neighbors because we're in a densely populated condo complex. Further support for the simulation is one neighbor moving in, and carried in 9 different kinds of chairs. No 2 were the same. That it never fails that once you start to get a little bit ahead in life, your car's check engine light comes on. Actually happened to me a year ago. Haven't heard about this before though. Tears of joy. Happened to me last month, though the check engine light is sometimes metaphorical. Wife and I were able to completely be out of debt, with exception of our house note. Then the water heater went out. Long, but super weird and inexplicable. I know how this sounds, but I swear this really happened. I was a childhood bookworm. While the other girls at a 5th grade sleepover were playing air hockey and dancing around to Let's Hear It for the Boy, I'd pulled a creepy looking book off my hostess shelf and huddled into a beanbag chair in a quiet corner of her family room. I finished the book that night and the next morning I placed it back on her shelf. Left, and promptly forgot the title. We moved a few months later and I spent the next 7 years trying to find that damn book. There was no internet, just old card catalogs, but I searched every library I visited. Unfortunately, both book and title remained elusive. It turns out that there is no shortage of books about young ghost girls on farms in spooky houses with ponds. The author wasn't Mary Downing Hahn, Richard Peck, or any of the usual paranormal YA authors. It wasn't Wait Till Helen Comes. The only thing I could remember about the cover was that she was holding an owl. That didn't turn out to be helpful either. In my sophomore year I worked as a librarian's aide and spent roughly 2 hours in my school's library every day. To no avail. I'd literally searched through every book that contained the following keywords: ghost, haunted, spooky, scary, and mystery. But one afternoon as I was shelving books in the biography section, something quite literally hit me on the head. It was a hardback book that had fallen off the top shelf in a section it didn't belong in. As soon as I picked it up and saw the hollow owl on the cover I knew it was not a book logged into our system. Nobody knew how it got there. I was alone in the library. For what it's worth, I just Googled YA novel ghost story girl pond owl, and it was the top result. The Ghost Next Door by Wiley Folk St. John. If I'd just waited 32 years. That's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite stories to tell. The closest I can come to explaining it is that maybe a friend found it, sneaked it into the library, and tossed it over the bookshelf at me. But none of that explains how they knew it was the right book or how they were able to get out without me seeing or hearing them. It was a school library. It wasn't that big.